Ever seen someone driving a brand new truck that costs as much as a house and wondered how on earth can they afford that? Here's the uncomfortable truth: they probably can't, and chances are they're making less money than you. So, what's really going on here? Stay tuned because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you think about car buying. Welcome to the Wealth Guide. On this channel, we break down personal finance topics that will actually save you from the pains and headaches of wrong investments and help you make better choices with your money. Today, we're diving into something that's affecting millions of people, but nobody seems to want to talk about it: how regular people are signing up for car payments that should be mathematically impossible. If you've ever felt confused about how your coworker affords that $75,000 SUV while also complaining about the price of eggs and milk, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you want more honest conversations about money that can actually help you avoid financial mistakes. Let's get into it. The reality check: the numbers everyone needs to know. First, let's talk about what we're actually dealing with here. And I'm warning you, these numbers might sound fake, but they're very real. The average car payment in America right now has crossed $700 per month. $700. And that's just the average. We're not talking about luxury cars or Ferraris here. That's what regular people are paying for regular new cars. But here's where it gets wild. When you look specifically at trucks and SUVs, which have become the default choice for most American buyers, those payments routinely hit $900, $1,000, or even $1,200 per month. Think about that for a second. $1,200 every single month for 6, 7, or even 8 years straight. Let me put this in perspective. Many people are paying more for their car than they pay for rent. Over the life of these loans, we're talking about total payments exceeding $80,000 to $100,000. And that's before you add insurance, gas, and maintenance. So who's actually buying these? Now you might be thinking, okay, but maybe people are just making way more money these days. And look, I wish that were true. But wages haven't increased nearly enough to justify these kinds of payments using any traditional financial rules. So who are these people dropping $1,000 a month on a truck? They're not secretly rich. They're teachers, nurses, retail workers, and office employees. Regular people with regular jobs who've somehow convinced themselves they can make it work. And there's an entire system designed to make these impossible payments seem possible. Understanding this system isn't just interesting, it could literally save you from a financial disaster that follows you around for the next decade. So, how in the world are they doing it? Trick number one: stretching time like taffy. Remember when car loans were 3 or 4 years max? Those days are long gone. Today's car loans regularly stretch 6, 7, or 8 years into the future. Some lenders are even offering 10-year car loans, which honestly sounds like something from a nightmare. Here's why dealerships love this. If you take that $60,000 truck and spread the payment over 8 years instead of 4, the monthly payment drops dramatically. Suddenly, instead of needing to pay $1,500 a month, you're looking at $900. And $900 sounds way more manageable, right? But here's what they don't tell you when you're sitting in that showroom. By stretching out the loan, you're not just lowering your monthly payment, you're massively increasing the total amount you'll pay. Let's do the math. That $900 payment over 8 years adds up to more than $86,000. Compare that to taking a 4-year loan at about $72,000 total. You're paying an extra $14,000 just for the privilege of a smaller monthly number. And it gets worse. Cars lose value fast, especially in the first few years. By year 5 or 6 of your 8-year loan, you'll owe way more than the car is actually worth. You'll be trapped in what's called negative equity, which is a fancy way of saying you can't sell or trade the car without writing a check to cover the difference between what you owe and what it's worth. Trick number two: the 0% illusion. Walk into any dealership and you'll see huge signs screaming 0% APR financing. Sounds amazing, right? Free money to buy that truck you've been eyeing? Here's the secret they don't want you to know: there's no such thing as free money. The cost of that 0% financing is baked right into the vehicle's price. You're either paying full price for the car and getting 0% interest, Or you're getting a discount on the car and paying normal interest, but you're never getting both. Plus, those 0% offers usually require excellent credit and shorter loan terms. The people who actually qualify for these deals, they're usually the same folks who could just pay cash for the car anyway. For everyone else, the interest rates on these long car loans can be pretty steep, especially if your credit score isn't perfect. Trick number 3, the trade-in treadmill. This is where things get really messy. Here's the typical cycle. Someone buys a new car with a 6 or 7-year loan. After 3 or 4 years, they get bored or want something newer. But there's a problem. They still owe more on the loan than the car is worth. So what happens? The dealership rolls that negative equity into a new loan for an even more expensive vehicle. Think about what this means. You're now paying for a car you don't even own anymore, while simultaneously taking on debt for a new car. Your loan balance keeps growing even though you're making payments every month. It's like a financial hamster wheel where the faster you run, the further behind you get. Dealerships absolutely love this because it creates customers for life. Once you're trapped in this negative equity cycle, you become a captive audience. You can't escape without writing a big check just to get out of your current loan, so you keep trading in and rolling that debt forward forever. The hidden costs. What nobody calculates. Let's talk about something most people completely ignore when they're focused on that monthly payment. All the other costs that come with owning an expensive vehicle. Insurance is a big one. Insuring a $60,000 truck costs way more than insuring a $20,000 sedan. When you add comprehensive coverage, collision, gap insurance, and everything else, you're easily looking at $200 to $300 per month. For families with multiple expensive vehicles, insurance can hit $500 or more per month. That's $6,000 a year just for the right to drive your depreciating asset on public roads. Then there's maintenance. Modern trucks and SUVs are incredibly complex machines. When something breaks, and trust me, it will break, the bills can be shocking. A simple brake job can cost $800 to $1,200. Transmission problems? $5,000 or more. Major engine work? You might be looking at $10,000 or higher. And fuel. These massive vehicles get terrible gas mileage. When you're driving a truck that gets 15 miles per gallon in real-world conditions, you're easily spending $350 to $400 per month on gas for a normal commute. The real total cost. Let me show you what this actually looks like over the life of the loan. Let's say someone buys a $55,000 truck with a 7-year loan at 6% interest. Monthly payment, $800. Over 7 years, that's $67,000 total in payments. Insurance at $250 per month, another $21,000 over 7 years. Fuel at $350 per month, that's $29,000. Maintenance and repairs, easily another $15,000, probably more. Add it all up, and this person will spend over $130,000 on transportation over 7 years. And at the end, they'll own a truck worth maybe $15,000 if they're lucky. They've essentially paid $130,000 for a $15,000 truck. That's not financing. That's wealth destruction with heated seats. Here's the really depressing part. If someone took that same $800 monthly payment and invested it in a basic index fund earning 8% annually, they'd have over $70,000 after 7 years. Not only would they have avoided the burden of the truck payment, they would have actually built wealth instead of destroying it. The psychology trap. Why people keep doing it. So if the math is this bad, why do people keep signing these loans? The answer is psychology, and it's fascinating. Car companies don't sell transportation anymore, they sell identity. They sell the idea that your vehicle says something about who you are as a person. That truck isn't just getting you to work. It's a statement that you're successful, hardworking, reliable. And if you're not driving something impressive, what does that say about you? This emotional manipulation makes it way easier to justify payments that should seem completely irrational. When you're not just buying a truck but buying into an identity, suddenly that $900 payment feels like an investment in yourself. I've seen people restructure their entire financial lives around a car payment. They'll move to smaller apartments so they can afford their dream truck payment. They'll eat cheap food every day while driving to work in a vehicle that costs more than some houses. They'll skip vacations, avoid restaurants, and put off other major purchases, all to support a car payment that eats up 25 to 30% of their take home income. Some people even take second jobs specifically to cover their vehicle expenses. They'll drive for rideshare companies using their expensive truck to generate income to pay for that same truck. It's like a bizarre form of indentured servitude where your car becomes both your master and your means of survival. The normalization effect. Perhaps the most concerning part is how normal these extreme payments have become. People who would never spend $1,200 a month on anything else somehow convince themselves it's reasonable for a car. Think about it. If someone told you they were spending $1,200 a month on coffee, you'd stage an intervention. If they dropped that much on clothes, you'd assume they had a shopping addiction. But when it's a car payment, we just shrug and say, well, you need reliable transportation. This normalization didn't happen by accident. It's the result of decades of marketing that's incredibly sophisticated. That commercial showing the rugged truck climbing mountains, it's not selling transportation. It's selling you the fantasy that you're the kind of person who climbs mountains, even though the closest you get to off-roading is parking on grass at a festival. So the bottom line is, the mystery of how people afford these insane car payments isn't really a mystery at all. It's a carefully designed system of extended loan terms, emotional manipulation, and financial gymnastics that would impress a circus performer. People aren't actually affording these payments in any real sense. They're just pushing the financial consequences down the road while convincing themselves they deserve that shiny truck. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. First, if you're currently trapped in one of these massive car payments, you're not alone and you're not stupid. The system is designed to make these decisions seem reasonable in the moment. But now that you understand how it works, you can start making a plan to break free. Second, if you're thinking about buying a new car, remember that monthly payment is not the only number that matters. Look at the total cost over the life of the loan. Calculate all the hidden costs. And most importantly, ask yourself if this purchase is moving you toward your financial goals or away from them. Third, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a reliable used car. In fact, it's probably the smartest financial decision you can make. That paid-off Honda Civic might not turn heads, but it also won't turn your bank account into a disaster zone. The next time you see someone in a $70,000 truck, remember, they're probably making sacrifices you can't see to afford something that's actively destroying their wealth. And maybe, just maybe, that practical car you're driving isn't looking so bad after all. If this video helped you understand the car payment trap, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more honest personal finance content. Drop a comment below and let me know, what's the craziest car payment you've ever heard someone justify? I read every comment and I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.